in yet another unplanned episode on the Mullet Mustang, supported by Turn 14 Distribution.
We go ahead and try to fix the gear whine that we've been struggling with, and we actually figure out the oil leaks that we had at the racetrack.
All right, PT, we're back at NV Auto working on the rear end of the Mustang again. This feels like deja vu to me.
Yeah, you know, we never want to do things twice, but the rear end whine combined with a bunch of oil leaking meant we had to come back and do this twice. I'm going to get to the rear diff in a sec, but first, we had a bunch of oil leaking onto the inside of the rim, and we figured out it's the axle seal. So while we're ripping really hard, oil is actually running between the seal down here and then onto the wheel.
Yeah, not the safest scenario.
No, not at all. So we're gonna replace these seals, and as you can see, there's a reason why they're probably leaking, because they're old, rusted, and just plain old shitty.
Getting those things out of there is gonna be a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't have a good idea. Of course, there's a special tool for it, which looks like a hook that you kind of dive in and you pull out, but I'm sure the guys here will have something for us that we can make do with.
That flathead ain't gonna cut it, PT.
Well, I'm just cleaning the rust off right now.
Oh, okay.
Trying to make this job a little bit easier.
Nam has the right idea, I think. The big pry bar in there. Oh, that was faked. That was faked for the internet, everybody. But he did use that pry bar to pull it out of there. We'll show you the
faking. That's how it goes.
He
man.
faked it on the internet. Come on.
That's how it pops out.
This is like a Kardashian video here.
I have been working out.
We will pull the other side out legitimately, but that's what we used, was a pry bar in there, and it worked well.
Oh, there it goes. It's coming. Yep.
Oh, yeah, there she goes.
Oh.
Nice.
Now we just knock our new seal in. Oh, there we go.
You can tell by the sound
The
change.
sound changes, that's right, see?
It's bottomed out.
It's bottomed out, and it's in. And I didn't wreck it, so that's a good thing. So we've been dealing with a bit of an oil leak in the transmission at the racetrack, and from what I can tell, it's coming out of the vent tube, which means either the oil is overfilled or the vent tube has gone bad. So first things first, we're going to replace the oil, which I assume when I drained it, it looked like there was a lot of fluid in there. So I'm gonna put it back to the proper amount, which was what,
3.2 quarts? Yep.
Of oil. So I'm gonna fill the transmission up with my favorite here, Valvoline Synthetic SynPower 7590 gear oil. And we're gonna go back to the racetrack, not this year, but next year. And we'll hope that we don't have a leak anymore. This is the NV Auto fluid transfer pump
here, yeah.
that you fill up. And let me tell you, I have yet come across a transfer pump that doesn't leak.
Yeah, it's always a mess.
It's always a messy, messy job. Let's see this work. Ooh, so efficient. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow, it's puking out of there like, that's serious.
That's just a gasket leak, bro.
That's a lot of oil we're losing there.
Nah, that's not that much. You may remember this scene before. So what we're doing now is we've pulled the actual diff out, and what we want to do is access this gear here, and which is the main pinion gear. We're going to remove that and then change that tiny little shim out to something a little bit thicker, which should improve our tooth engagement and fix our whine. If you recall in the last video, we had a big oopsie when we knocked the pinion out. So this time I'm gonna try to pop the front cover off here, which is the cup that holds it in place, and then we'll be able to slide it out without it falling. That's the intent.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, he caught one and the other one stayed in the housing. It's a miracle.
Oh, it's a modern day miracle.
It's a Mullet Mustang miracle, everyone.
All right, we'll show you this in better detail, but yeah, we need to get that shim out of there. That is next on the agenda. This time around, we were a little bit smarter and went over to Mr. Transmission, who removes bearings like these for a living. The guy popped off this bearing for us, which allows us to get to the shim in question that we're gonna replace. But he also gave us a good pointer and gave us another bearing. And he said, if you hog the bearing out, which is what I'm about to do, you can slide it on here without pressing it on. Therefore, you can put everything back together, make sure that the shim you used correctly, so you're not forced to continually press it on, press it off, press it on, press it off, and you could wreck the bearing. So this way, it's not the fastest, but the smartest way to do this. With the bearing hogged out, there you go. It fits just loose enough. Well, I've gone through all the shims that we have, and 0.88 is the closest one to our 0.70, so it's quite a bit of a jump, but I'm confident that going to a thicker one will bring the tooth engagement closer to the center. So we're gonna put all our money on this guy here. So now, slide this back on, and put this back together.
All right, time to paint mark these ring gear teeth and see what our engagement pattern looks like.
Exactly. So the diff's back in. I just tightened everything up like you normally would. And the moment of truth is, okay. Okay, let's roll this bad boy out here. And, well, from what I can tell, it looks like it's almost in the middle.
It's more in the middle than it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, like this one up here, you can see it's right in the middle, and on the top side here.
It's a bit toward the heel, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's too much
far
on the
back,
heel
yeah.
side.
Yeah, okay. Let me check the instructions and see what it says about that.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's a good thing. So back to the drawing board. See, it's a good thing we actually didn't press that bearing on.
Yeah, true.
One eternity later.
Well, this is probably the, what'd you say, Dave? 6th time we've had this out?
Yeah, probably at least, yeah.
Yeah, and we're making progress, but not that much. We're having a hard time actually centering the pinion on the gear, but we're getting there. We've actually reduced the shim on the pinion back to a smaller one, which has improved our engagement. So what we're gonna do is actually reduce it again one more time.
Are we? Okay.
And see where we can get this thing at. But if you look at right now, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, it looks pretty good now. It's a lot more centered than it was before.
And
huh?
down here, it's starting to get centered. So we will reduce the shim one more time. And if that proves to be the winner, then we'll say, you know, we only had to do this 10 times to get it done.
10's a lucky number, PT.
And this was the point what?
0.63, I think it was?
Yep, 0.63 shim. And we're gonna go to a 52.
All right. See what that does for
0.52. Which we hope will help us out on the engagement front.
Yeah.
I'll slide this back in here for the 9th time.
You're getting to be a pro at this, PT.
I know.
You have to open your own diff building business on the side here.
I don't think you can make money doing this.
No, somebody
at the rate
can.
that
Probably
I'm,
not.
I'm at. Mostly, I think most pro shops would get this done in 2-3 tries.
Yeah, well,
But I guess experience probably pays
experience
off a
does
lot.
count. Yes, it does.
Looks like we have as much success, I think, as we're gonna have. That's pretty decent engagement. It's just a little bit off center, but if you look down here on our, I guess it's the decel side.
Yeah, it's nice and
right in the
centered.
center, which is where we were having the whine.
Yeah.
So we're thinking we're gonna stick with this. Now we just actually press our bearing on here, which has become quite a simple task. I don't know if you guys recall the old video, but it was a real difficult pain to take it off. But now that we've got it figured out, when you do things 2-3 times,
right,
you're
you
always much more efficient at it.
You're a pro at diff building and bearing pressing.
And all that. Before we go putting everything back together, here's a quick tip. You want to get a new crush washer. This is a one-time use kind of deal. and so is the nut, which we have gotten. So we're ready to put this thing together for the last time, and then we're gonna check everything again. And Dave, we're hoping it'll be good.
Even if it's not, we're gonna go for a
We're
rip.
sticking. No, we're sticking with it exactly,
For
just like
life.
before.
Yeah.
Once you get to a commitment point of, you know what, I'm done.
There's no turning back.
It doesn't matter.
No.
I think this is number 10.
Is it number 10?
This is the 10th time this is going back together.
Do we know any cultures where number 10 is lucky?
No, but it just seems like a nice round 2-digit number.
Yeah, it is. It's fair enough. And just to date myself, I'll also point out that Guy Lafleur from the Montreal Canadiens wore number 10. With golden hair flowing in the wind back before they had helmets.
I was just going to say, that's an era where helmets were
Optional. Yeah, I know. Amazing, eh?
With everything assembled, our backlash is now at 11th thou, so we're on point with that. And here's our gear engagement. I'm gonna run it through here a couple of times. So we are almost in the center on the D-cell side, and we're almost perfect on the acceleration side. So I'd say we are in good shape.
PT's got the RTV out, and that means one thing. It's time to fill this diff up with some Valvoline.
But I want to talk about my RTV applying skills.
Oh, yeah?
I've learned less is more.
Okay.
So see, I'm being very,
Skimpy.
very
Methodical.
gentle with my application. I'm not just like everywhere, oh, it's not gonna seal.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
figure this is the way to do it. So I'd say that's a mission complete for now. Everything's back together. We have one final thing to do, and that is go for a test drive. So let's get to it. Well, here comes the moment of truth now. Take it out for a test drive, and let's see. Let's have a listen.
Man, she's quiet so far.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It does sound good. Oh, yeah. Just exhaust noise. No gear whine at all.
No gear whine, none. I'll put it in neutral.
Coasting down here. Nice.
Oh,
Whisper
quiet.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's chalk that one up. That's a victory for us.
Yeah. Long overdue win there
That's
for
right.
you, PT.
It's been a long time coming. We've been struggling with the rear end, but it just goes to show when you really don't know what you're doing, you may have to do it a couple times. But I think I've got the rear end thing figured out on the Mustang now. So if we do this again, we'll do it once and we'll do it right the first time.
No doubt. And I guess that wraps this episode up. What do we got
Yep.
planned for the next one?
Well, we've got a bunch of, I think we're going to be doing cams real soon. That's going to be the next step, and we got to hit the dyno as well.
That's
and
right,
see
we've
what
got
kind of
that.
power we're
that.
making with this beast.
Pete was afraid to break Envy's tools, so now Vin's like, all right, I'll break my tools. Oh.
You didn't break it.